Hello, Gaston County. Welcome to episode number 186 of Gaston's Great, a podcast highlighting some of the great things happening in and around Gaston County. I'm your host, Stephen Long. We're coming to you once again from the international headquarters of GSM Services. We simply believe in discussing more of the reasons why Gaston's great. We are highlighting another great organization this week, and we have Terry Kinney with us, who is the CEO of the Low Cost Spay Neuter Clinic, which is connected to the Animal League. So we're going to let Terry get into all those details. And it's actually, believe it or not, Terry was with us way back on episode 35 over 4 years ago. So a lot has happened with the clinic in the Animal League since then. So Terry, it's great to have you on, and welcome back to the podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm always excited to come and talk about the Animal League and Spay Neuter and our new hospital that we have on the second floor of our building. So, I can give you a little history because a lot of people say, how's Animal League connected to all these different programs?
Yeah, please do. That was going to be my first question, so please go right ahead for our listeners.
The Animal League of Gaston County was started in 2003, and it is our umbrella organization, so it is the nonprofit. And through Animal League, we do a lot of different programs. Our biggest one is our Spay Neuter Clinic, which is down at 425 West Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia. And this July, we will be celebrating our 100,000th Spay Neuter surgery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Pretty cool, isn't it? And then the biggest thing that's happened to us, since we opened the Spay Neuter Clinic in 2009, we opened a full-service veterinary hospital on the second floor of our building. So we have an elevator to get you up there with your pets. We have full-time veterinarians, techs, x-rays, dental x-rays, you name it.
And that was something that wasn't happening, January of 22 when we first spoke, right?
No, definitely not. We were just really starting to kick off the fundraising for it.
All right. So 2 quick questions, then we'll get into kind of the last 4 years. So how did you get involved personally with this? Because you before being CEO, you were executive director, I think, correct?
Yes.
And the things have changed. So kind of just give us, maybe our listeners, a little background there. How did you get involved? Because it's something you're obviously passionate about.
Very passionate. I started in Gaston County. My husband and I moved to Gaston County because he worked in NASCAR racing, so he wanted to be near Charlotte. And we decided we didn't want to live in the big city, so we came to Gaston County. And I practiced law for 27 years here. And in 2007, I was at a meeting of Animal League of Gaston County. I'd made a presentation to the county commissioners about getting rid of the gas chamber, and the people heard it from Animal League and invited me to come. So after a few meetings and an article in the Charlotte paper about how many animals were being euthanized in shelters, I decided I was going to take up the mantle of the animals. And never did I think that I would be talking about animals since 2007.
Right.
But I was at a meeting, and they were talking about opening a Spay Neuter clinic, and I said, I will raise $100,000. Now, this was in 2007.
Wow.
Why? I have no idea.
It just sounded like a good idea at the time.
It must have. And then I kept talking to the lady beside of me, and she'd been president, and she kept saying, well, we really need this and need this. And I said, Becky, I will raise $100,000. And that's where it started. So,
was that one of those things that you say something like, how in the world am I going to do that?
It was just so unexpected. I think that there was something guiding me, and it has just pushed me. Everything fell into place for the Spay Neuter Clinic. It wasn't hard putting it together. I mean, it was hard work getting it built and all that, but T.J. Solomon, another attorney in town, friend, we were talking about it with somebody, and he said, what are y'all talking about? And I said, a Spay Neuter clinic, we need a building. And he said, well, I think I have one. And so we opened up down on East Franklin Boulevard, which was a fabulous building. It was an old Papa John's. And then everything just started happening after that. We bought out another veterinarian's business, not his business, but his equipment, and all of his furniture at a very, very reasonable price, and it's been going ever since.
All right. So for those of listeners who may not know, I mean, and I probably didn't know a whole lot until we spoke a few years ago, kind of what is the mission of a spay neuter clinic, and then that connection with animal, but what's kind of the mission? What are you trying to accomplish? And then let's talk about specifically the location, the last 4 years, and then anything else that you want to share.
Sure. Well, Animal League's mission is to improve animal welfare in the community through advocacy, education, and service. So we do a lot of different things to help animals, not just the spay neuter clinic or the hospital, but we have a program called Room to Run, where we go out and build 25-foot by 25-foot enclosures for animals that have always been on a chain.
Yeah.
And we spay neuter them, vaccinate them. Everything is free to the homeowner. So if anybody needs a fence out there, if you'll give us a call, we'll see if we can work you in the system. We also have something called Pets to Go, and these are volunteer-run programs, not paid staff. And Pets to Go tries to help people who have unwanted litters or animals they have to rehome, find homes for them, keep them out of the shelter. Our goal is to make it better, because there's such a human-animal bond that we know that when we help animals, we're also helping the human owners.
Yeah. So for people ignorant like me, when we talked before, why is a spay neuter clinic so important? Why? Because most people think, oh yeah, we need all the animals we can have around. So why is that so important?
Well, for an example, when we started exploring a spay neuter clinic, Gaston County was taking in over 10,000 animals a year.
Yeah.
And
it seems like a lot.
An extraordinary amount. And they were euthanizing about 61% of them. Now they take in less than 3,000 a year, and they euthanize less than 10%. So we've made a huge
dramatic difference. Okay.
Dramatic. And if you read all the studies and, big organizations like ASPCA, they do lots and lots of research, and spay neuter is the only way to manage pet overpopulation.
Gotcha. Right. Yes. So listen, my wife and I are on our second or our third pet since we've been married, and our second rescue dog. And listen, he is part of our family, just like, frankly, sometimes we like him better than our kids. Oh gosh, this is recorded, isn't it? But you know what? Especially now that our kids are moved out, who's really excited to see me when I get home every day, right?
That's right.
It's our dog. So, and he's terrific. So that you make a great point, and that it is super important. So, listen, I appreciate you kind of sharing some background for our listeners who might not be familiar with the organization. So, you've mentioned the hospital. I think it seems like I'm going to probably say it wrong, but when we talked last time, you were just finishing, it was a garden or something like right behind the building, is that right? So maybe start there and then get into maybe a little more detail about the last 4 years or so.
Absolutely. Yeah, when we came, we were just in the midst of getting Ruth's Garden built, and
right.
Ruth's Garden is a gorgeous botanical garden. It has a beautiful pavilion, and we actually lease it out for events. We've done a bunch of weddings, baby showers, photo ops, the whole 9 yards, and we use that money to fund some of our programs. So it all flows back into the clinic, but it's not animal related. So it gives us a different stream of income.
Sure.
And it's gorgeous. If you haven't seen it, you need to come by and look at it. And then that took several years because it started during COVID.
Yeah.
And
we were still in the midst of it when we spoke, the first time.
Yeah, and it was something getting supplies and contractors and all. But when it came out, we were all very excited about it. And in fact, we're having our first Low Country Bowl garden party May the 16th. So we would love for people to get in touch with us about it. It's going to be live music. It's going to be an auction. It's 6 to 9. So give us a call, and we can give you all the details about it. And our number is 4673.
Is there information about that on the website?
It is.
Okay, because we'll make sure before we finish, we'll let you share the website and how the phone number again, and how listeners can find out more information.
Yeah. So Ruth's Garden finished. We started some new programs. The one about building fences, we worked with another organization out of Cleveland County, and they taught us, and so we've been going strong on it since. And we started a No Cold Pets project, and that's where we build dog and cat houses and give them away so that animals that are outside have a place to get in out of the wind and rain and cold. So those have been very popular programs, but building the hospital was very hard, and running the hospital is very hard. I will tell you that.
I'm sure.
It's just trying to get everything flowing as smoothly as we would want we want to do it in a week, and it's it takes years to get everything worked out. Yeah. But we're very excited about it. We're doing about 10,000 appointments a year through the hospital, and about 8,500 spay neuters a year. So we're really rocking it down there.
All right. So if you divide that by the number of days, that's kind of busy.
That's kind of busy.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. And people say all the time, I come by there in the morning and there's all these cars lined up. They're dropping off their little fur babies for spay neuter surgery.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask that, because I'm often, we have two buildings, so I'm often coming up Franklin from one or the other, relatively early in the morning. And you're right. There are almost daily cards out there lined up, like giving away free food or something. So yeah, it's interesting. That's interesting to see. That's not something that I would have thought, would be happening at that scale that you just described. So I'm assuming that whole building's yours, right? Upstairs and downstairs. Mm-hmm. And I spent some time on the website yesterday. It's great, and you do a really good job about detailing all the services you provide now. And again, it is a lot different than when we spoke a few years ago. So is that, normally we like to ask this question, kind of what's something you're most proud of, or something that you've seen? There's two questions. That's one. I'm going to, can I assume that getting the hospital up and running, is that it, or is there something else that?
Well, I always say practicing law was my profession, but animal welfare is my passion. Yeah. So definitely starting the spay neuter clinic. And when we started, we were in an old Papa John's building at a little less than 1,400 square feet, and we did 7 surgeries that first day and thought we had we were exhausted. We just knew that was all we were going to be able to do. And then to watch it grow like it has to almost 100,000 surgeries. We know we're making a difference. And so that's pretty cool. Yeah,
that is cool.
Yeah.
Is there an example that you can think of? Because I asked this same question 4 years ago, but it may have changed then. So in your day-to-day, work and operation, a specific example where you say, okay, that shows why, this is why we do this. This is why we started. Something that you've impacted a family, or something specific that happened in the community, or someone came in to the hospital and you saw how you were able to help a family with their pet or something. Is there something that stands out that you've witnessed? Or
it's no one thing.
Okay.
Every day at the clinic, we help people. We don't send people away without getting them some help. We may not be able to do everything they need, but we have a food pantry if they're short of pet food. We have some subsidies to help them if they can't afford the services. And just this morning, you never know when you walk out in the lobby what you're going to find. Walked out, and here's this great big man with a box with a kitten about as big as the size of your hand. He said, wow. We heard it up in the attic at work, and it finally fell through the ceiling. So we're trying to help him find a foster for it. But every day we do something that makes me feel good when I go home. Now, is it all easy? No. Is it all great? No, it's work,
Oh, yeah.
My husband says if it was all fun, they wouldn't call it work. So he's right
Fair
about
enough.
that. But,
it's... Except here at GSM, it's always fun, right? Oh, boy. Okay. So again, that's great. I appreciate that, because we do like to see it's helpful when you can see that impact, right, that you're making. And you probably already answered this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Why would you say, just kind of maybe a general statement? Again, you probably already shared enough, but why is Gaston County better? Because the Animal League and the Spay Neuter Clinic is here?
I think the biggest thing is that we focus on helping animals, but we also help the families.
Right.
And I think that makes a lot of difference. We see a lot of seniors come in, and their only connection to the outside is their animals, and they love them. And they will tell us when it's over, this is all I have. So it kind of makes them get up in the morning, makes us feel better, and, and we do love those furry babies.
Yeah, yeah, listen, our vet is practically part of our family, the way that she takes care of our little our little dog too. So it is a big impact, in the lives of these families. So it's something we like to talk about, and it's not, this one actually might not be a fair question because you've accomplished so many things in the last 3 or 4 years, but looking out even further, is there anything else you guys have planned, or you're just trying to take a breath after, doing what you've done the last few years?
Well, we get pushed all the time to do more, to do,
sure.
to expand.
It's never enough, right?
Never enough. But I would think that for now, we need to get everything moving smoothly, efficiently. We'll probably get another veterinarian before too terribly long because we are booked up.
Did I see there's 2 on staff now? Is that right? Or
we have 2 full-time vets on staff, and then 2 to 3 days a week. Well, probably 2 days a week. We will have a relief vet, the same one, come in.
Gotcha.
I would think the next thing to expect from Animal League is probably a satellite location somewhere in Gaston County, but away from the heart of Gaston County. But now we're talking years down the road. That's going to be somebody else doing that. I'll dream it, but I'm going to leave it for them to handle it.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, and just if you're not familiar with the location, I know Terry shared the address, but it's basically directly across from the county offices, right? Where the Board of Elections is, and where some of the early voting happens.
Yeah, the county police department.
Thank you. That was the building I couldn't remember all of a sudden. But yeah, it's right across the street. So on the south side of Franklin. It's a good location. A lot of high traffic, so a lot of people are probably already aware of it. So, other than sharing how to get in touch with you guys and the website, is there anything, Terry, that I haven't asked that you just want to make sure that you share before we, we're going to make you answer a couple personal questions like we always do, but anything that I haven't asked that I should have asked that you want to make sure you get across? Well,
I want everybody to go see our website at algc.org or Gaston Spay Neuter. Either one of those. We have a Facebook page. We post all the activities, all the specials. We run a vaccination clinic once a month where you can just walk in. You don't have to pay for an office visit, so it keeps those services affordable for most people. And everybody's welcome. We get a lot of calls saying, well, I'm not in Gaston County, but everybody's welcome, so come on. And if you have an animal question or concern, there is somebody in our building that can answer it.
So what if somebody, this is just a question that I thought of, if somebody comes across a stray animal, a stray pet, a stray dog, a stray cat, is that something they should be calling animal control? Or if it's a calm animal, can they something that y'all would take a look at this animal, or how? Because I have no idea.
Well, interestingly, one of our employees found an animal in the middle of the road yesterday with a big old logging chain on it. Adorable, a collie, very sweet. He brought it into the clinic. We scanned it for a microchip. We looked to see if there was any lost and found out there. Couldn't find it, so we did end up taking it to the shelter. So, but I feel sure we will keep an eye on it. It will find a home.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you go from 10,000 animals in the shelter a year to 3,000, I mean, that's a dramatic drop, and many more of those percentage finding homes, right?
Yes.
Going from, 40% to 90% finding homes previously?
Well,
if I did that math right.
It was 60% euthanasia rate.
Right.
when we first started, and so now it's down to less than 10. But you're right. I mean, even if they can only do a percentage of animals, when it was 10,000, the percentage was way too high. They just couldn't manage it.
And just bigger numbers in general.
Absolutely.
So, we do like to force before we finish up, force our guest, because I have the mic, to answer a few questions. Just because I think it's good for our listeners to hear about the people behind these organizations and the people behind this work. So I'll probably ask you this question 4 years ago, and we may go back and check and see if you give the same answer, but we may not.
I doubt it.
We may not. But Terry, can you share what is something very few people know about you besides you're a recovering attorney?
Oh, my goodness. I honestly, I think that I'm an open book. I've been in the community so long and practiced law and was on committees and everything. I'm a Pisces who really doesn't care for water. That's one thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm I don't think this is going to surprise anybody. I'm like an A-plus personality. My mind is
Go get things done now.
Now. So I have to really put, as they would say on a tractor, a governor on it to kind of slow me down and think through things.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I know about those A-type personalities.
Yeah.
I'm not one, so I need people around me to help me with that occasionally. This is a podcast about Gaston County and all the good things happening here, and the Spay Neuter Clinic, Animal League. The work you're doing is one of those things. But besides your organization and the work you're doing, would you say Gaston County is such a great place?
When my husband and I decided to move in this direction, we looked at Charlotte, and I knew that was not for me. It was, even at that time, we were getting ready to celebrate our 38th anniversary, so that was a very long time ago. Charlotte was still bustling. I'm from Martinsville, Virginia.
Okay.
Gastonia is very much like Martinsville, small town, textile. And I like the small town atmosphere.
Sure.
I like practicing in a small office, and the people were super nice. That's the one thing I think. And you have everything you need in Charlotte, if you need
drive
it away. Yeah.
All right. So. Yeah, geographically, I think we're just in extremely unique. I've traveled a lot recently, which is unusual, but being able to 20 minutes to the airport and not have to go to the other side of Charlotte to get there. Yeah, that's really nice. Mm-hmm. All right. Last question that I like to ask, and this is kind of a newer one. I know we didn't ask you this one a few years ago. Terry, if you could have coffee with one historical person, and we probably didn't send you this one, so you had to do this one off the cuff. Who would it be and why?
Well, I'm a real World War II buff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so am I.
Yeah,
I love that stuff.
I read, like a whole year, I read all the time, and I read on World War II for a whole year. And I would probably like to sit down with FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and say, how could you make these huge decisions that affected the world? It takes so much courage and forethought, and I don't know how you do it.
And there were so many unique things he did to get us involved, not get us involved, keep us,
the Lend-Lease
Yeah,
agreement.
there were. So he is a very interesting gentleman, and so and I appreciate that one because that was such a, for me, I can't fathom what that time would have been like.
No.
And so many things. When the world coming together and so many people making decisions that now might seem obvious, but boy, they were not at the time.
No.
I mean, they were having to make decisions about things. Oh, and then even so I would encourage anyone, if you like that kind of stuff. There are so many good books and about that time, and FDR is somebody I would recommend studying. So I appreciate that. I love that time as well. All right, you shared the website, you said the social media. Any last words before we close this episode out?
Well, just thank y'all for having us and letting us talk about Animal League. We love to talk about Spay Neuter and how important it is. We've had a lot of really good supporters from the veterinary community in town, And thank y'all all, and come see us.
Oh, well, good. Well, listen, Terry, I appreciate the work you're doing. I mean, as a pet owner and somebody who's had pets since I was a kid, it is important work. And especially when you're a kid, you don't think about that kind of stuff, until you meet somebody like you, or having to take care of your own pet. And and that's when you're eyes were open to what's required. And it's just more than you would it's more than you would think to keep a community going in the right direction with the animals and animal care. So that's my small mind trying to get the words out right, but I do appreciate the work you're doing, because I do know it's a big deal. So I am going to finish off with a quick quote. I don't have a book recommendation this week, but Terry's kind of already done that with anything related to FDR, and there's plenty out there. But I do I've got a quote this week from John Wooden. He's one of my favorite guys, somebody I've studied a little bit on leadership. And he said, oh gosh, I'm about to rip my headphones off, stepping on them. But he said, be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. So this world of, social media and, I don't know, influencers and whatever, I think we get a little too caught up in what other people think. We keep, like the Animal League, right? They're focused, staying on mission, staying with your passion, doing the right thing, right?
That's right.
And so that's how real work gets done, and not worrying about so much what other people think. Let's just go get the work done and worry about your character and what you're accomplishing on a day-to-day basis. So appreciate that very much. Appreciate your time, Terry. And to our listeners out there, thanks so much for taking time to listen to today's episode. Please continue to spread the word if you can about the podcast. And please don't hesitate to contact us here at our email address, which is podcast@gastonsgreat.com. We're always looking for suggestions for future podcast topics and guests. You can find the podcast and subscribe at the website, gastonsgreat.com, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And please follow us on all social media platforms. Thanks again to Terry for being our guest today. Gaston's Great is produced and brought to you by Amber Hauser from GSM Services. I'm your host, Stephen Long. Thanks again for hanging out with us, and please keep coming back to hear more reasons why Gaston's great.